All right, good morning to you here. It is January the 31st, of course, final day of the month. Cutting this video just after the top of the 6 o'clock hour. It's a cold morning out there, but a gradual warming trend is going to continue for us here as we go through, in general, the next several days. I'll show you more of that in just a second. That's what it looks like in Charlotte as I cut the video. This is our sky cam near Charlotte Douglas International, looking back off toward the Charlotte skyline. 29 degrees, the temperature there. Again, as I cut the video, which was early in the 6 a.m. hour. Yesterday, we had a 51-degree Charlotte high, 55 down in Columbia, 39 in Boone, 47 in Asheville, a lot of 40s through the eastern part of the state. Except look at Elizabeth City and Cape Hatteras. What a chilly day there with some upper 30s for highs. These are temperatures during the 6 a.m. hour this morning. 27 Raleigh and Fayetteville, 25 in Greensboro, Boone at 21, Asheville 25, Columbia 32, below freezing at Cape Hatteras this morning too. Charlotte viewing area, a lot of 20s on the board in most locations. If you aren't there at the time I cut the video, it was there earlier. Everybody's been down into the 20s. A lot of 20s in the mountains as well. All right, there on Storm Tracker, we've had some cloud cover, a little disturbance, a little cold front basically working through. Those clouds will be with us for a little while this morning and then get out of the way this afternoon. I think plenty of afternoon sunshine's on the way, and many of us will push into the 50s for our afternoon highs. A lot of cold air still in the northeastern part of the country. How about 6 below in Bangor, Maine, Burlington, Vermont at 4. Big footprint of snow, of course, still on the ground in the northeastern part of the country. Still some pretty chilly air here across the southeast, but it's going to kind of be a battle over the next several days between continued Arctic air across the northern tier and this warmer air that's in place through the southern plains, even the central plains states today, and kind of easing into the Tennessee Valley and the deep south. 70 the high today in Jackson, Mississippi, for instance, 71 in Shreveport. So again, that battleground kind of setting up, and eventually as we get a little deeper into the week, there's going to be a big Arctic cold front that makes its way on through the central and eastern part of the country, waves of energy riding along it, a messy ice and snow scenario for a lot of real estate off to our north and west. But again, today you see that warm air definitely in place across the southern tier and easing into our region. 56 the high in Charlotte, for instance, 50 in Asheville, 54 in Fayetteville. All right, now I'm going to show you the more detailed modeling in just a second, but this is the European model across the lower 48. Arctic cold front easing southeastward, and due to the nature of Arctic air, and I mentioned this on yesterday's video, it's kind of like pouring out a bag of sand. The further you see that Arctic air mass spread out, the thinner it gets, and so you end up with that shallow layer of Arctic air undercutting the precipitation. So yes, you'll have a big strip of snow and then also an area of sleet and freezing rain. So that's, again, the European model, 7 p.m. Wednesday. Look at the snow and ice deep down into Texas by Wednesday night and Thursday morning. And then we'll see that strip of wintry precip continue to extend all the way up through the northeastern part of the country. Now, as far as the snow is concerned, that's the European snow output. Big snows this week. Parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, northern Ohio, and on up into parts of the northern sections of the northeast, eastern Great Lakes region. And then there's your ice zone, and this is subject to change. Just kind of depends on the exact placement of that low-level cold air, but could be a significant ice storm. Southeastern Oklahoma, into the Ozarks, the Ohio River Valley, and parts of the northeast and the New England states. So definitely something to watch for those folks up that way. And again, it's an area where we will stay on the warm side of this frontal boundary through the week, but then that changes over the weekend. So let me progress to a little bit more of the detailed modeling. All right, so let's talk big picture first, longer term, and then I'll talk about the storm system for the end of the week. Now, this is the 0Z run, the GFS ensemble mean. We're looking at the upper air 500 millibar height anomalies, basically the difference from normal and the upper air heights. This is valid Friday. There comes another little piece of energy that's going to try to ripple through here in the Sunday-Monday time frame. I'll show you that in a second. Always tricky to time when these little trailing pieces of energy will actually eject eastward and out our way. But look what happens as we get deeper into next week. All right, look toward the west coast and Alaska. So now that is Wednesday. That's a big ridge in the eastern Pacific ridging up toward Alaska. There's a lot of cold air in central and eastern Canada, and that is a good look to try to get winter weather threats in various places through the eastern part of the country, and depending on that press of cold air, potentially down into the Carolinas. We go forward in time. There's the 12th of February. That's a very cold look in the eastern part of the country. Huge ridge up toward Alaska. Again, that is a pattern that just kind of screams winter fun and games in the eastern part of the country. And then we'll go all the way out to the end of the run here. That right there is Tuesday the 15th. Still have the big Alaskan ridge. There'll be some degree of southwestern Atlantic ridging that might try to fight back, but that's why as storm systems come across, as we get deeper into the month, some will go north, some will probably go south, but I think the potential for winter fun and games has not ended at all here in most of the eastern part of the country, including the Carolinas. So let me show you, we'll go right here. This is the latest run, the 60 run of the GFS. All right, so there's Thursday morning, and I'll go ahead and throw on the different precipitation type contours here. There's your zone of ice through the Ohio River Valley, maybe as far south as Memphis and northwestern Mississippi by Thursday evening. Now, the timing on the GFS is a little slower locally compared to the European. So let me show you what it looks like. I'll zoom in here to North Carolina. Now, the GFS largely keeps North Carolina dry Thursday, and then Thursday night and Friday, we get that band of showers sweep on through. European model, a little quicker. You have some showers through the western third or so of the state Thursday, and then the cold front itself moves through by Friday morning. Canadian model is fairly similar to the European with Thursday showers, and then the cold front works through eventually a little bit slower during the day on Friday. Now, I mentioned that little trailing piece of energy. All right, this is what the latest run of the GFS does. That piece of energy moves in, and it produces precipitation moving into that dome of cold air here in the Carolinas. And again, that's kind of going to be the setup, I think, starting maybe as early as this weekend and then extending for a while into February. There'll be cold air around. It'll try to wedge down at times, pieces of energy constantly working eastward, and we're just going to have to kind of take them one at a time. But the takeaway from this is that I do not think winter is over by any stretch of the imagination as we move forward through the month of February. A little relaxation this week, but the pattern kind of reloads and looks pretty favorable for a lot of central and eastern U.S. winter weather potentials as we go through the month of February. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. Everybody, have a wonderful day here on our Monday, this last day of January. Stay safe and God bless.